It's that time of the month. One paper theme, 3 ways. I have 39 outdoor scrapbook pages to share. Hello there. Welcome to or welcome back to my channel, Snips by Kelly. For those of you that don't know, I'm Kelly, and you've probably guessed it if you are a follower that it's time for one paper theme, 3 ways. Now, Papercrafters everywhere have been having fun with our amazing weekend adventure line. And one of my favorite things to do when I finish with the collection is to share it with all of you. And so I think I counted 39 outdoor, nature, masculine, country, hiking, camping layouts that I've created with the Weekend Adventure collection, and it is now time to share them with all of you, and I'm so excited, and I really hope you like them. Let's head on over to the scrap table and have some fun with Weekend Adventures. See you over there. I'm so excited to share with you 39 layouts or 39 pages from the Weekend Adventures collection. So I'm going to divide it out for you. We have a 6-page scrapbooking workshop kit, Stampin' Up! Designed, so you can purchase the workshop kit and do the 6 pages exactly as the company designed. Then we have 10 pages, which is my Simply Scrappin' style workshop that I create out of the DSP and sticker sheet. So it uses the Weekend Adventure DSP and sticker sheet, some coordinating cardstock, and some bling. Okay, then we have an 18-page Sparkle and Shine style workshop that I create out of the same scrapbooking workshop kit that the company workshop is created out of, but I just do my own thing with it. I typically add other things to it, some techniques, maybe some Cricut cuts, some different things, sometimes some stamping and some dies, and that is an 18-page workshop. And then I believe I have 5 extra pages that were just extra inspiration that I happen to use this collection with to comprise the 39 pages. So let's just start from what I consider easiest to the most elevated. So we're going to start with the company 6-page workshop. Let me get these out of the way and let's get going. With the company workshop. I always call it the company workshop because it comes in a workshop kit. The company designs it, there are artists there, and then you can grab up the workshop kit, pull out the instructions from that kit, cut it exactly as the instructions say, and put it together, and it's relatively easy. Sometimes they do add a tiny bit of technique to them just so that you're learning something with each workshop. So I use this page to document a trip that I took with my granddaughters, a little Jeep tour with my granddaughters and my daughter to Custer State Park to see the buffalo. So I thought this was perfect. The wood grain is specialty paper that comes right in the kit. There are several pieces here, including the titles, a couple of these little pieces here, and a few of these little pieces right here that are punch outs. So it comes with sheets of punch outs that are punched out, and you can use them as ephemera. It also includes a sticker sheet. So you've got some punch out ephemera and you've got some stickers to comprise the combination. So you have a sticker here that can act as the journaling, a punch out that can act as some journaling, and the rest are stickers. I did my pages exactly as the company designed them. The only thing that I added was some of our neutral matte dots. I just don't feel like layout is complete without gems or bling of some sort. This next one from the company workshop I used to document a trip that Waylon James, one of my grandkids, and I took to do a little bit of mining. So we went to this little local area that is rustic and country, and they have a little area where you can get a bag of sand and you can find either fossils or gems, and so you can do some mining, and he has fun with that every year. I love this one because it's so simple and so easy with all of the little punch out icons and the stickers from the sticker sheet. Again, all I added was some added gems. Love the layering of the paper in the background. Let's get started with the company 6-page workshop. The reason I call it the company workshop is because you buy the workshop kit from Stampin' Up. It has instructions in it already. It's designed by the artists right there at Stampin' Up. You can cut it according according to the instructions and put the 6 pages together. And it's all encompassed in the kit. There is sometimes a few little added things that you can add on as an option if you want to learn a new technique. So I put this together exactly as the company designed it. I didn't do any of my own change-ups. The only thing I added was some neutral matte dots, simply because I don't feel like a page is complete without the bling. So you can see a variety of things in this. They have punch outs, so you can punch out pieces. And so this is an example of a punch out. This one is the hearts and the beautiful R, and you can punch them out and use them as an ephemera. They have regular pattern paper in the kit and then specialty papers. I think there's 4 specialty papers that are white on the back that come in the kit, that you have extra paper that's not found anywhere else. You can't purchase that extra specialty paper anywhere. And then of course you have stickers on the sticker sheet. So I did this page exactly as the company designed, and I thought it was perfect for our Jeep trip through the buffalo in the Custer State Park. The next one, again, paper layering. I put it together exactly as the company designed. You do add a little bit of twine in a couple spots, and then added the stickers, the punch outs, did my journaling on one of the stickers here, and I used this to document a trip that Waylon James and I took to a little mining town, and we did a little looking for some fossils and some gems. He is a rock lover. He absolutely loves rocks. His dad, my youngest son, loved rocks as well. So it's so fun to take him rock finding. Continuing on with the buffalo trip, the Jeep buffalo trip, you can see we have some punch out ephemera, stickers. We have just a nice basic layered layout. Here's a journal piece here that you could use for journaling that was from the punch outs, adding a little bit of twine. The only thing I added to this layout was these dots. And I'll go back through all of the layouts when I'm finished with all 39 so that you can take some nice screenshots. Now let's move on to the Simply Scrappin, 10-page Simply Scrappin is my 10-page Simply Scrappin workshop. My Simply Scrappin workshop is designed to be clean and neat and to accomplish elevations simply through paper. So I don't add any stamping, die cutting, Cricut cutting, not a lot of technique, just paper layering, and I use the Designer Series paper and sticker sheet, some added cardstock, and some bling. So it's a very simple series of pages, and it's always 10 pages. So you can see I just basically used popping up pieces, adding some strips so that your eye can come across the page horizontally, and added stickers to that and a few of those gems to document Hippie Hole, which is a nice hike in the Black Hills. Super simple but effective, and it really focuses, these pages really focus on the photos. Okay, so this one, let's see, I believe it goes, nope, I think I was right. It goes this way. So again, a very simple layout with paper layers. So you can see that I repeated the patterns, I just flipped them. So I flipped it from this way to this way, and then I flipped it from this way to this way to accomplish both pages, where you can see all of the really cute patterns in the background, a little bit of each, and then focused on the photos. And this was a Jeep trip, again in the Black Hills with my grandkids. So all I added to this after doing the paper layering is the stickers. That's it, the stickers and the bling. And the next one here, again, a little play on paper layering, but simple paper layering. So I have 2 equal parts here. One popped up and then added the little strips, flipped that. So I have this one flush and this one popped up just to add that little bi-level there, and then added the stickers, the photos, did my journaling right on a sticker and called it good. And again, more camping. So these icons come right in the sticker sheet. These 2 I cut out. They both had a little bit larger stickers around them, but I thought that they were just so cute, and the grandkids are around the campfire and eating s'mores and doing the camp thing. This next one I do love, and I've created a layout like this in the past that was inspired, I believe it was a close to my heart inspired layout, where you take squares of varying sizes and you just make triangle mountains out of it. And I thought it was so fun. I just did a small little series of mountains on the right so that I could get lots more photo opportunities. One thing that I do love about the Simply Scrappin layouts is almost always the photos are typically standard size. So you can add flip-flaps to just about any Simply Scrappin layout to multiply your numbers, because I definitely could have added flip-flaps, 4x4 flip-flaps here, 3x4 flip-flaps here to get lots more photo opportunities, because we have a ton more outdoor adventure layouts. And again, just layered the paper in the background. I do gut out all of those papers in the back to save paper, because you're probably thinking, oh my goodness, 3 sheets just for the background. But I gut each of those bottom layers out so that I'm using the interior for photo mats and other parts and pieces on the layout. This piece here is a sticker right off the sticker sheet, so you get a little bit of an extra chevron pattern there. Again, I must have been in the mood for paper layering. So I have this one here where I actually did 3 longer strips. So you can see the 3 longer strips. And then I did smaller rectangles here and just layered and stacked them. And then I made sure that the one in the middle came out just a little bit longer for a nice little visual play. Looks like I'm about missing my sticker here. This is one of my granddaughters who's a climber, and she just loves to climb, and we've got Waylon James here on Daddy's back going down some rocks. So we're just camping here. The banners come right in the sticker sheet. The title comes right in the sticker sheet. Everything that you need that I've used on these pages is right in the sticker sheet. So there you have the 10-page Simply Scrappin workshop. Now let's move on to the more elevated pages, the Sparkle and Shine. I always use the scrapbooking workshop as my base ingredient. I almost always add Cricut cuts to the Sparkle and Shine style. I often do inking, I do stamping in the background, and I do all the things. So there's lots of techniques in these pages, and these pages are more designed for, say, a weekend retreat or a weekend crop where you actually have time to spend on this. And it's more for people who really love all the added extra detail, who love a decorative element on top of a very functional scrapbooking element. So for this one, I don't know how many of you are country, but this layout, I was going for a Pendleton vibe. So there's Pendleton blankets, and they have 3 stripes in them a lot of times. And so I was kind of going for that Pendleton vibe with the buffalo plaid. So I cut the buffalo plaid on the bottom on an angle by picking a measurement in the center and a measurement on the side and just slicing that upward to create a visual play with the triangles. You can see that I inked the edges of almost everything with pecan pie. The Cricut elements that I added to this were some of the background trees. There are lots and lots of die cut trees. So if you don't have a Cricut, obviously you could use some die cut trees as well. And then I added some of the punch out and the stickers from the sticker sheet, and I used foam tape on some of the specialty paper. So the wood grain paper is a specialty paper, and did a lot of popping up. So I popped these elements up. I did add twine behind the banner. It looks like one of them needs to be restuck there. And then I used some of the textured dots in the background. I love that metal texture. And again, to document hiking, it was a wonderful weekend hike. I really love that deep, rich, early espresso feel to this layout. Here's a layout, and I will let you know if any of these layouts have process videos. I'll also link in the description all of the ingredients that I used in each of these, and you can always go to www.snipsbykelly.com, which is my website, and you can see all my workshops eventually on the blog portion of my website. I show every photo of every page. I show all of the ingredients and the supply list on my blog, so you have a great resource there. This one I did share on my Facebook page, and the circle is actually a leftover circle that's left over from a different page that I created with a Cricut overlay that has a circle in the center. So I actually just didn't want to throw away that circle or cut it apart to use for something else. So I covered it with just a little bit of background paper and then used it as a background element. Again, you can see that I've inked almost all of the pieces with pecan pie, basic elementary background. We've got our strip here with a strip across and then a vertical strip so that it nests your details right like this. And so the camper is the only Cricut element and the trees that I added to this particular layout. The rest of it is punch outs, stickers, pattern paper, layering, and popping things up, and some of the textured dots. I love buffalo plaid, so I had a tendency to gravitate more toward the buffalo plaid. So you're going to see a lot of the buffalo plaid in these pages because I used every single scrap because it's one of my favorite patterns. So this one I did more toward the end when I didn't have much left. I had a gutted frame. This tree paper was gutted, so the middle wasn't there because I think it was an interior piece of another frame that I used. I had this piece here and another scrap, and that, I believe, was the only pattern paper I had left, was the buffalo plaid that I had enough left to really do very much with. So I did a play with the white cardstock, popping it up. So I actually cut on the Cricut, I cut this tree out of the background of the white, distressed it with some pecan pie, backed it with the pattern paper, topped it with some more Cricut trees, just to create a decorative element in the corner and cover some space that way. Now, there are only 5 photos on this layout, but they are standard size, so you could do flip-flops on each and every one of those. And because I wanted it to coordinate, I did another little square with tearing as well. The rest of it is punch outs and stickers. So basic and so simple, but still elevated, and it's still considered a sparkle and shine style because of the Cricut element. Now, if you had a large tree die, you could achieve the same exact thing without a Cricut. And then I added the gems to that. And this was a different Jeep excursion than the Custer State Park Jeep excursion. This was kind of a Bahaing Jeep excursion that the kids and the grandkids took. Now, this one you've seen, I think, many times. I don't know if you've seen the companion page or not, but this, I have a full process video for this, and I was on a mission to be able to show how to use our alpha party dies. And so I created this layout for the sole purpose of using those alpha party dies on the top, and then I incorporated this into my Sparkle and Shine workshop. So I did add a die for just this layout. So obviously, if you don't want to grab an extra die or you don't have a need for farming, you can substitute more stickers, more punch outs, other elements in the place of what these are. But I did cut the barns out on the Cricut, and then I cut the letters out with the alpha die, and then this is Tractor and Co. And the rest of it are the punch outs, the ephemera, the punch outs here, and the stickers from the sticker sheet. And I do have a full process video for this. I did do some splattering in the background with a pecan pie I wanted to say tri-blend, and I caught myself, Stampin' blends marker, where you just flick it from the cap and it spreads that, kind of like a shimmer brush if some of you were used to shimmer brushes back in the Close to My Heart days. I believe I do have a process video for this one as well, and it was all about layering. So this one doesn't actually have any Cricut cuts except this little piece, and the reason I added it is it was in a pile of leftovers and I just threw it on there, but the rest of it is showing showing you how to leather paper. So you sprinkle our paper with water, crumple it up, and distress the edges and do some tearing. A lot of that is covered up, but it's such a neat technique to make that leathered look. And I've actually made a lot of masculine cards with that leathered look. And then this wood grain paper is one of the specialty papers that comes right in the scrapbooking workshop kit. And so it's nice to have extra patterns that you wouldn't otherwise normally have. Did a ton of layering here, layered some of the punch out pieces that come in the kit, and then stickers and more punch out pieces for the decorative elements, and added some extra bling there. Inked all the edges with pecan pie and distressed the edges either with an edge distresser or with a scissors, whichever you prefer. This one, I was running out of larger sheets when I got ready to create this one. Oh, goodness, I was going to... Hold on, I was just going to cover up this photo here because we are a hunting family, hunting, fishing. My son is an avid shed collector because on our farm and ranch we have elk and antelope and deer and lots of things. And one of their favorite pastimes is to walk the fields and find sheds, walk the hills, walk the fields, walk the trees, and they can find amazing sheds. And my daughter-in-law, which is here, she is amazing at doing amazing things with sheds and skins and things like that. And I just covered up a deer hunt there. I know that people who don't live in the country and aren't used to that lifestyle, it can be hard for them to understand. And I'm not making any excuses. I don't have to justify how we live our lives, but I just know that I didn't want you to see that if that's hard for you, because it is for some people. And I do have a heart for people who feel that way. So basically, I made my own background paper. I started to say by scoring a regular piece of cardstock and then running black Memento black ink up and down on that to make a distressed wood grain paper in the background. I inked all of the edges. I tore paper on an angle on both pieces and then pieced that together with the photos in the middle to bridge that gap so that you have this really cute hiking and rustic paper that comes out in between. The only Cricut elements in this are the trees. The rest of it is stickers and ephemera and that kind of thing. So yeah, so that was a really fun one. And then of course, with the backgrounds, when I can, I do the gutting to save paper because it's an awful lot of layers, but I really loved that one. Okay, this next one, I actually really loved the company's workshop where they did something super similar for the left page. And, but they did something different on the opposite page. And in fact, I can find it and show it here to you. It's right over here. Let me just give me a second here. It's right here. Got it. Okay, so here's what the company did with theirs. So they had two divided triangles on theirs, and then they had this piece, which I really loved. And so what I decided to do with this is I decided to just carry that on so I could just carry that up across both pages. So I cut this paper on an angle and then matched up the angles and then added only their 1x3 maybe pieces. So easy to do. And then I did some layering on the photo mats and used some of the similar parts and pieces. I used one of the banners there and the stickers, and you might see duplicated stickers because in order to get 18 pages for this workshop, I did add an extra paper pack and sticker sheet. And I did that because my Papercrafters have been asking for masculine and actually begging. And so I wanted to go big. And so I wanted to give them so many different pages, nature, camping, country, all kinds of things. And this is little Waylon James and Ramsey Kate and Avery and Hattie camping. And oh my gosh, gosh, I just love these photos of them out in the great outdoors. Okay, this one and this one, no, I don't have a process video for this one, but I did, I believe, share this one on my Facebook, out on my Facebook. So some of you may have seen me show this one. This is one where I cut the background on the Cricut, and that's where that circle came from that previous layout. And I used the Cricut pen to write Camp More, Worry Less. And then I used Stampin' Blend markers to color those in. Added a few Cricut icons. These were fussy cut out of stickers. This was from the sticker sheet. And then for the companion page, I don't know if you can see on the background, since I've been working with angles a lot with this workshop, I cut this one on an angle and used the top on the top and the bottom on the bottom. And then this one on an angle and use the top on the top and the bottom on the bottom to mix and match. And then I did another rectangle on a diagonal for the top and the bottom piece here and bridged the gap with the photos, and then did another angular piece here. And I just thought it was a fun difference to have those photos coming from out under the angle. The journaling tag is a really long tag, which is really neat. And I would have loved journaling on that, but I thought to have some more, layers here, that I would do my journaling on top of that and then add a decorative element below. And I really love how that turned out. This next one, you have seen a full process video before, and I think you've seen it many times out on my social media, so I won't spend a ton of time on this one because there's a process video, but I was again using those alpha dies to make tag letters, and I thought that was a fun play. Did some inking in the background with plastic, throwaway plastic that I pressed into the ink to make the mud spots in the background. Added the 2 Cricut tire tracks, and then did a little bit of tearing and layering some paper underneath to make that nice little distressed look in the background. And I really love how this page turned out, but you can see the full process video for that one, so I won't spend a ton of time on that. That was the 18-page Sparkle and Shine, and I'll go back through every single layout that I shared, and I'll add a little music for you so you can wait till the end and watch all of them in a row without my talking. This one was a process video. This is just an extra that isn't part of a workshop, but it was a stretch a sketch or a sketch challenge where I used the sketch to create a different background. I did do my journaling on a Word document and printed that out, and then popped up all the banners here and just used 3x4 rectangles on the bottom and rounded the corners to document Kuna Matata here at Animal Kingdom for Disney. And that one is a full process video that I will link in the description. This one also is a full process video, a little different play on the outdoor theme. I did a little mystery escape room, and I did a full process video, just very small squares here, added a little bit of acetate behind a magnifying glass and some shapes up there for the title, and had a lot of fun with that one. This next one was a hold on here. This next one was a patchwork vibe. Again, another separate trip, different trip that we took to Sylvan Lake. Did some camping with the girls. I love taking the girls and their mom on little adventures, and they are big climbers. But I just did triangle patchwork here in the background, and I actually added some ephemera to help do some filling in there, and then cut some squares into some angles to create this really simple patchwork background. All right, let's go back through everyone, add a little music. I hope you have enjoyed all of these 39 pages of these weekend adventures. You can hit like, subscribe, the notifications bell, and be sure to shoot me a comment and let me know which ones were your favorite. You can see all of the workshop versions soon on my blog at www.snipsbykelly.com. Now let's check out all the layouts from beginning to end. Thanks so much for hanging with me.